Welcome to 70 System, this is DMG, and today we're going to be talking about which tabletop RPG is the best one to start with. Now, of course, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of different RPGs in the world. Many different genres, many different styles, many different types of rules. What you really need to be thinking about is which types of stories are the things that you're interested in. Are you interested in fantasy? Are you interested in science fiction or westerns, horror type stuff? There's a game for every kind of storytelling that you can think of. What I like to suggest to people is to pick a board game first. So not necessarily go and hunt down an RPG, but actually look for a board game that's in the genre that you like. So you're asking yourself, why would I start with a board game? Well, if you're going to build a group of people together that you want to start getting into a certain type of role-playing game, the best type of game to start with is one where everyone can't understand what's going on. So if you're new to role-playing, it's most likely that your friends are new to role-playing, and you kind of need to bridge that gap and get them into the actual game. So in future videos, we're going to talk about how to put a group together, how to introduce the game to other people, but this is why it's probably important to actually pick a board game in the genre that you're thinking of first, okay, and then pick a role-playing game that you can transition into. So obviously there are many different board games. I mean, we're in the golden age of board games at the moment, so every single genre is going to have you covered. Whether you want zombies, or you want to play mice, or you want to play Star Wars Risk, or you want whatever. There's a board game that's going to suit that type of style. So from there, you're then going to transition from the board game into the role-playing game. You just got to get yourself into the mode of the type of things you're going to be doing. So the dice rolling, the types of elements that are going to be in that kind of game. You know, if it's a Western, you know, dealing with towns and mayors and, you know, guns and horses and all that kind of stuff. Those sort of elements are going to transition from the board game into the role-playing game. So then the second phase is to then find a rule system that fits with your desired story style. So this is where you'll have to do a little bit of research. So if you're into westerns, you go Western RPGs. If you're into horror, it's horror RPGs. If you're into sci-fi RPGs. If you're into fantasy, you don't need to look very far because there's millions of them. So you know, that is then when you're going to look for those. So the strategy from there is to look for something that is either low cost or free, or has a rule. You can download a free version of the rules, or you can get a cheap version of the core rules rather than having to buy, you know, a whole lot of books first up, because you really only want to get the core guide or the player's guide, the one that basically gives you all the things you need to start with. So a lot of games will actually have either free downloads or cheap download, or they'll have the core book, which you can go through and have a look at how the rules in the RPG system that you're looking at actually works. So if you don't like a lot of maths, the one trick is, if you're going through the book that you've picked up or you're downloading, have a look for how many tables there are and how many numbers and things are in those tables. Because there's a lot of tables and a lot of numbers, you're probably going to have to be doing a lot of maths at some point in the game. Some games are more maths heavy and are more simulationist, so they have a hell of a lot of tables and have a lot of number crunching that you have to do. If you don't like that, steer clear of them. If you don't like a lot of rules and you know you basically want to be more about the story and make it up as you go along, have a look inside the books to see how much artwork there is, how much text there is. So, you know, a thick book with not a lot of text but a lot of nice quality artwork is probably the game for you, because there's less crunch in the rules, there's more flavor text, there's more about the environment or the setting of the rules, all that kind of thing that will really help you to create the kind of role-playing experience that you're looking for. So I would really have a look, flip through the books and see what actually takes your fancy in terms of whether you like the maths type stuff, whether you like the artwork and the style of the setting that you're looking to go, and whether that blends with what you've been playing before, and of course in the style of stories you're looking to tell. Also, of course, when you're downloading or having a look at these sort of things, there's going to be a lot of people that have a lot of opinions about a lot of different games. So the more opinions you look at, some people are going to love certain games, some people are going to hate certain games. It really is something that you need to play it and find out for yourself, rather than taking everyone's word for it, because sometimes you might miss out on a great opportunity, and you will be worse off for it. So I think once you've made a selection, play it before you slay it. And finally, there's no such thing as the perfect or most ideal system. So even though I've created my own system, and you say, well, why don't you say you should play your system? Well, it doesn't matter what system it is. No system is ideal, or no system is perfect. So you may find that you start with one and then you move into another, or you find another game that may not be in the same genre but has great rules, that you want to use those and translate them into the game of your choice. But really, it is your choice. Ultimately, the one to start with is, of course, the one that takes your fancy, because that's probably the one you're going to stick with and be able to get your friends to come and play with you, especially if you start out with the board game and you ease them into the role-playing. But we're going to talk about more of that in the next few videos in this series. So, if you like this video, click the like button. You can find out more information on Facebook and Twitter /7dsystem. You can also visit the website 7dsystem.com, and if you'd like to support these videos, you can go to patreon.com /7dsystem. Now, if you'd like to see future of these videos, please go to youtube.com /7dsystem and subscribe. Of course, if you have suggestions as to games that people can play, check them out in the comment section below. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about how can you find a game to play in rather than a game to run. And that will be in the next exciting episode.